What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am here with Kurt Tippett, AFL.
Afternoon.
Mate, first AFL player. What an AFL player to get.
Oh, very stoked.
Oh, mate, so
Great
stoked.
setup here, mate.
Oh, bro, it has been, this has been the key to the setup, honestly. Like, when I first started, I was always worried that, like, I could go cheaply and just, do the real basic. But that first impression is so important, and that's what's been the difference. Now, there's a lot of podcasts out there, but just the quality kind of studio vibe, people seem to really enjoy it.
Yeah. No,
So, yeah.
you've done it well.
Oh, thanks, mate. Anyway, on to yourself. I mean, Gold Coast boy, we're both Goldie boys.
We are. Grew up on the Gold Coast.
What
Very
if you?
fond memories.
Oh, mate, if you could sum up the last 10 years of your life, how would you sum it up?
The last 10 years of my life, been playing footy for the last 10 years of my life, so it's actually gone pretty quick. To
Yep.
think that I'm nearly nudging 30, it's a bit scary.
Damn, man, so scary.
But no, it's been a thrill. I moved to Adelaide at 19 years of age, pretty raw and not having much of an idea about footy at the time. I sort of been playing for a season and a half. So I'm
Amazing.
still grasping the footy culture and the sort of vibe around that, and to go to a place like Adelaide, which is just really concentrated around two teams.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's very similar to the Broncos in Queensland, I'd assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And to land in a place like that, and to feel a part of that, and to have great players there. Like, I played alongside Mark Rasciuto, Andrew McLeod, Simon Goodwin,
Yep.
Nathan Bassett. These sort of guys was unbelievable for me. I was on a steep learning curve. But yeah, I really enjoyed that, and then sort of found my feet and was able to, break into the team, and then from there, you ride the bit of the roller coaster ride, which is professional sport.
It is
you
a
have your
roller
ups and your
coaster.
downs, your injuries, your hard times,
Yep.
your awesome times, and I'm so grateful now to be here in Sydney. I love living in Sydney and playing for the Swans.
And I guess, looking back at that time when you'd only been playing for a year and a half, was it, some people are naturally just really ambitious and they're like, yep, I can do this. Was it more just you were just going with the flow and you were just good, you trained hard and things kind of came to you? Or were you a bit like, this is crazy, like I've only been playing for a year and a half and yet I'm here in Adelaide and I'm a part of this, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
was it weird?
It was a big step at the time, but it was sort of one. I think I was pretty ambitious. Like, I wanted to play professional sport.
So you had that drive
Yeah,
in you?
growing up as a kid,
Okay.
I played everything. I played a lot of basketball. I played a bit of rugby league, soccer. As we do growing up on the Gold Coast, we're in everything. And then, this opportunity opened up for me in AFL, and I really enjoyed myself. Yeah, but I was also saying, look, here's a pathway for you. If you do the work and you're good enough, you don't know how far you could go. And a coach actually told me that, Norm Dare, when I was sort of playing at Southport, he sort of said those words to me, and I really took that on board and tried to take that opportunity, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I mean, we were speaking earlier, we can relate quite strongly, you being a basketball player, me being a soccer player, but when I came to rugby league, and a lot of people think that you would be daunted when you got to that place. And don't get me wrong, you would be daunted by the big names, but me personally, I wasn't daunted by the hard work, or I never doubted that it could be done. Whereas, like, I think some people would get a bit like, holy shit, they would focus on the fact that you're playing basketball a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And yet it's this strange feeling like whatever sport it is, you want to make it. And it's weird, hey, like how you just kind of know that it will happen if you work hard enough, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think learning those lessons younger in life, through other sports, and trying to make your way. I was really keen on my basketball, and
Yep.
maybe one day thought I'd play in the NBL or something like that. I had those sort of dreams, and I worked really hard at that and learned a lot through those times growing up. And then I guess it's the same. You just apply it to a different sport, and you almost know you got to work twice as hard as the others because you haven't been playing as long. So that's how I sort of attacked it.
And take us back to, growing up on the beautiful Gold. Beautiful, mate. I mean, is there a better place in the world to grow up? Especially at that stage when it wasn't as built up?
Yeah, I don't think so. I've got the fondest memories that we were talking before about primary school and
Yep.
racing in the carnivals there. I went to St. Vincent's Primary, and
Yep.
you were at St. Kevin's.
We would have raced each other.
We met at those carnivals. I remember you burning up the grass and
Oh,
me sort
please,
of
mate. Please.
scratching it, trying to grab it, any sort of
please.
ribbon I could get my hands on. I was happy with a second or a third those days. But,
Oh, man.
no, yeah, beautiful place and great opportunities too. they loved their sport up there. We're always outside, so
Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome.
And so growing up, you said was basketball when you were a younger kid.
Yeah.
Was basketball initially what you wanted to do, or were you just a jack of all trades, like as in you kind of just played any sport and you just enjoyed sport kind of thing? Because like, for example, a lot of footy players, they start young and that's their path. Where it
Yeah,
seems
okay.
for yourself, you tried all these different things. What was it like?
Yeah, I remember playing the under 6 soccer up there and going through to about under 10s, and at the same time, did a lot of stuff at the beach. Dad really
yeah.
loved the beach, so
Nippers?
we were down there. We did nippers. I did nippers a bit older. I was sort of 14, 15, 16, did a bit of nippers while playing basketball and,
Yep.
playing rugby league and rugby union at school. And but I guess, my main passion was basketball. I played from under 12s right through to under 18s.
Yep.
And that finished at under 18 nationals, which is a bit of a highlight of my childhood, I guess. We placed second. I think we only lost by a couple of points, so we went right through, and with a good group of school friends, we fell a bit short, but that's one of the highlights of my junior years playing basketball, was playing that national final.
And so in your mind, was it, I want to be in the NBL? Was that everything that you're progressing towards?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got pretty serious with it towards the end as I got older. I grew a little bit, which made it a little bit easier. I started making the teams.
Started dunking blokes.
Don't know about that, but I was pretty driven to go as far as I could. Growing up, I always wanted to see if I could play professional sport. I love the idea of it, as so many kids do. Getting paid to play sport, and
It's a dream.
yeah, the lifestyle that comes with that was a big dream. So I went pretty hard at that, and then for whatever reason, sort of got to a stage where I couldn't see a clear path for myself, and took another route. Had some friends playing football, and joined them for a bit of fun. And
Do you reckon that was because in the NBL in Australia is not necessarily like well funded? It's not a big, you know what I mean? Like, was that because the reason why you didn't really see a path, or was it because you weren't enjoying it as much? What was the reason?
I think it was a combination of a lot of things. I've been playing for a long time. And I think naturally the pathway wasn't as clear. In contrast, the AFL pathway is so clear. Like, there's these steps.
Really, really good.
Yeah, you've got a lot of support. You've got the teams, you've got the steps. You finish at the under 18 carnival with all the scouts and all that. So that was a bit clearer for me. And not that I was sort of weighing up these things initially when you play. You're playing for the fun of it, but then when you start to make those sort of transitions, you start thinking about, which way will I go here?
It becomes more attractive too. When you're looking at this,
a little bit more inclined to, when it's clear, you sort of think, well, that's there, and it's
I know what you
achievable
mean.
a bit more.
Yeah, and you can visually see that system, and it's just easy to slide in. You also might have more people go like, this is the way to go. This is the way, because more people kind of follow that sport as well. So I guess even around you would have had more people. I mean, I assume anyway, I could be completely wrong, but more people saying, you should give AFL a go, kind of thing.
Yeah, and to AFL's credit, they do it very well. The grassroots, the development right through the age groups to the senior level, it's well supported, and they do a great job of looking after that. So I think that's a strength of the game, and why it's in such great shape at the moment.
And so you make your transition. What was that first year like for you? Was it enjoyable?
It was interesting. I loved it. I was playing with some friends from school that were right into footy, and one of those guys was Ben Merritt, the son of Roger Merritt, and Roger obviously played for Essendon and a legend of the game. And to his credit, Roger came out and he sort of taught me a few things and how to play and how to protect myself so I didn't get smashed, because I was pretty raw. I was sort of jumping like a basketball player. And, you can
leaving
get
yourself
hurt
open
if you're not doing the right things and not using the right technique. So he came out and he showed me a few things, and I had a lot of great help through that first year, and the guys at Southport really supported me, and we had a pretty good year, and played in the reserve grade grand final. We lost that one, but I think it was just the enjoyment factor that sort of kept me in the game. And
you got best and fairest.
I was lucky enough to get best and fairest.
What was that? I mean, your first year of AFL and you're getting best and fairest in your reserve grade.
In the reserve grade, that was a bit of a thrill. Totally unexpected. But I think those little things, when you look back, they're the little things that give you that little bit of encouragement. And the coach sits you down and said, if you take this a bit more seriously next season and do the hard work, you don't know how far this game might take you, and there's opportunities there for someone like yourself who's coming into this game late to get a spot on a team, and you're tall and had a few things in my favour like that. So I really did have a lot go my way and a lot of support. And that next year, things sort of fell into place a little bit, and I was lucky enough to do a bit of a camp to the AIS with my younger brother, who was also following the same path, and then came back to Southport, and we played in a premiership that year, which was awesome experience.
You win it?
We won that one.
Yep,
so
nice.
we got our 10-year reunion this year. So
oh, really?
Of that. I think that's in this month. So I'll try and get back to the Gold Coast if I can get the time to see those guys.
Yep.
And then the under-18 carnival followed that, and from there I was lucky enough to get drafted, and was in Adelaide pretty quick.
So number 32, you got drafted?
Yeah, pick 32.
What was so
draft day is an experience?
I was about to say, walk us through, bro. Walk us through that feeling. I mean, a draft day. What about the pressure? Just this pressure would just be enormous.
Yeah, there's a bit going on. So you've done your draft camp, and at draft camp you tested physically, and
so actually walk us through that, the draft camp, because I mean, people listening wouldn't know this, but before I came to rugby league, AFL heard that there was a guy that was a young athlete, and they actually came to me and they asked me to go to. It would have been in the same year.
Yeah,
which is funny. So
you could have been there. Man.
Yeah, bro, I could have been there, and I was like, "Fuck that! That fitness is way too much." And kicking and learning all that, and footy was easy, so I just man, it's way easier. Anyway, so I personally, I want to know, what is that draft camp like? The pressure would be so immense.
Yeah, it's pretty daunting, to be honest, and you prepare for it. Like, what tests are coming up, and you got your 20-metre sprint and your jump test, your 3K time trial. They do a bit of a repeat sprint, and then going along with that, there's also the psych tests, and you're getting tested by physios to make sure you're physically right and no injuries, and then chatting with coaches and recruiting staff as well. So it's a big couple of days, and you prepare for that, be in the best shape you can. Fortunately, I got sick going into draft camp.
Oh, God.
So I had about a gastro, so I couldn't test. I was crook. I felt pretty good about my preparation. Then I got crook, so I couldn't really test, which is unfortunate. But I got to go and chat.
Did that rattle you a bit, though? Were you a bit worried there? Like, shit.
I was a little bit, because being someone who's not a natural footballer, I had to rely on a few of these other attributes. Well,
that's what they would have been seeing out of you, this big guy that's athletic, fit, all that kind of stuff.
That was sort of my way in, my strength, and I thought, I'm not going to get to show these guys. So I was a bit disappointed. I had a chat, and lucky enough, I got to chat to a lot of clubs, and that was cool. And then you come away from that, and because I was sick, I followed up with the Queensland-based one. So I went to the national one, which is a big one, and Queensland then run a separate one for maybe kids that didn't get invited. So I went and tested that with these guys.
So maybe like the reserve, or not even reserve, because
just the next sort of best guys, because they can only have so many at the big national one, and then Queensland put on another one, and I did the testing, and so the results sort of got out there a little bit, which is awesome. And then the next sort of couple of months, you're following up, and you'll have another sit down with recruiters if they want to know more, and then pretty much the work's done. And you're waiting for draft day, and
do you know before draft you get drafted, or is it like word, like you kind of get the hint that?
Well, you've got to play a manager, and I guess he's speaking to clubs, but a draft's such a changing dynamic thing. It's hard for them to give you any sort of guarantees. Maybe the guys at the real top end, the top 10, they might have clubs say, we're pretty keen,
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, because like that, someone could nab a guy.
Yeah.
And that throws the plans.
Yeah, that throws everyone's order out, and certain teams, I guess, have specifics they're looking for. So they might need a tall guy, or they might need a defender at this stage. So there's a lot going on. So
walk us through that day, bro. What'd you have for breakfast? What was it like?
I don't think I ate. I knew I wanted to keep busy. So I think I went for a surf with the brother and the dad, and stayed out of the house. And then it wasn't telecast that day back then. So we're listening over the internet, and my internet was all sorts going on. My internet wasn't working. I was stressing out. I was on the phone.
Was it Telstra? Bloody Telstra.
I don't know. And then it was actually one of my good friends was on the phone, and he heard my name and called me up. And initially he said, "Freo, I've just picked you." And I'm, what, Freo? You serious? And he goes, hang on a sec, no. And there was a bit of confusion. And next minute it's Adelaide. My other phone's ringing. The home phone's ringing. No. Adelaide picked 32. So
What? That's like out of a movie, bro. That's like out of a movie. If you're filming that, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to Freo. No, I'm not going to Freo.
yeah. He's like, you idiot. What's going on? Tell me this straight. And then it's Adelaide, and Adelaide 32. And I'm like, I guess it's a great sense of relief, to hear your name and to have someone call you out. I don't know. It's makes all the hard work sort of worthwhile. And
did you get that kind of? It's hard to put it into words, but that spreading of contentment. Where you're like,
a little bit. You sort of feel wanted, like to hear them call your name out and to think, they picked you at pick 32, and
yep.
I had no idea. I just wanted to get picked.
Yeah.
And so it's a big relief, and then you sort of start thinking about moving to Adelaide, and that all happens really quick.
Yep. Was that tough? That would have been tough, man.
Yeah, it all happened pretty quick. I always said I'd happy to go anywhere just for the opportunity to play, and I was really set on that. And a representative from the Adelaide Footy Club pretty much comes straight up and he's at your door that day. So
wow.
Sat with someone from Adelaide, and they're there to sort of talk you through it, have a chat to your family, and they do it really well. And then I remember having dinner and then a couple of celebratory drinks that night with my friends and family.
Few bevies.
And then we're on the plane the next day, so it all happens pretty quick.
And that's like a 4-hour flight, 3-hour flight?
Where we at? It was 2.5 from Gold Coast to Adelaide. So
yep. Adelaide's a beautiful city, eh?
Yeah. I really liked it. Very different from the Gold Coast.
Very cultured.
Yeah.
It's good. Does it have a high like Italian and like an ethnic population there?
Yep. You get the great food there.
Oh,
and,
beautiful.
The wineries are so close to, you got the Barossa one way, McLaren Vale the other. So beautiful part of town. You got the coast and that. So yeah, I sort of landed in Adelaide, didn't know a soul, but once you're in a footy club, you know what it's like.
Were you one out then? Like, did you have a missus come with you, or no? You didn't have a missus?
I was 19, so I just went and stayed with the host family for that first year.
Okay, so they host you.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
While I was settling in.
Yep.
Which was great. It's what I needed. I couldn't look after myself really, cooking and cleaning and washing and all that sort of stuff.
Oh man, I lived with Darius Boyd and Steve Michaels.
Right.
Woo hoo hoo.
How did you guys fare in that first year?
It was crazy times. It was and the thing was that both Darius and Stevie, they were first graders off the bat, like straight into first grade.
Yep.
So there's the young guys. They have decent amount of money. I was still trying to make it. Like they debuted maybe Darius 2 years before me, and Stevie 2 years. Yeah, they were like the next.
Yeah.
Like the next big things that are straight into first grade.
Yes.
Anyway. It was crazy.
The Gold Coast boys too, aren't
they?
Goldie
boys. We actually grew up in the same area. Like all three of us grew up in the same area. And the same situation, raced against each other.
Yeah, I remember those guys.
Oh, man.
You guys were all too quick.
Nah, please, mate. Please. You're the one bloody playing for the Sydney Swans. Okay, so you moved to Adelaide. And was it just like a crash course in AFL for you?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I rocked up the first day and, you're filled with the nerves, and then you get the older guy sort of walking through the change room, and you're meeting everyone, trying to remember names, and to be honest, like I should have known everyone's name just from watching enough footy, but I didn't, and I felt really embarrassed by that. So I was quickly trying to meet everyone and remember names, and
I couldn't even tell you, like, if someone said to me, name, like, it's my job to watch NRL.
Yep.
And I couldn't tell you the squads of every player, so it would be hard. Like, especially AFL, your squads are massive.
Yeah, the squads are big, and and then out of training, and you're trying to
impress.
pick it up as quickly as you can and impress, and these teams picked you, and you sort of feel that bit of responsibility to try and go out there and prove why they picked you, and that's all interesting. And then I loved it, and then had a couple of injuries in my first year, so I didn't get to play much footy. Probably in hindsight wasn't a bad thing. I got to do a lot of watching. I learned how to train hard in sort of rehab, and learned the work ethic like that. Got to watch it all and sort of find my feet a bit, and then come the second year I was a lot better prepared to sort of get in there and make an impact.
Okay, so you get to Adelaide, you're trying to impress, you have your first few years off, and first year injured. and it was like a blessing in disguise because now you're 2 years into your AFL career.
Yeah, just starting my second year.
Yep.
And yeah, we was sort of able to have a good summer and injury free, and I was a bit stronger, and I sort of learned how to work hard and hit the track running, and was able to sort of come in and play, and was able to get through 19 games that next year. And
First grade?
yeah, first grade, which was
Wow.
which is it all happened pretty quick for me.
Yeah.
But learned a lot. Had some great players around me, and really enjoyed that. And then from there, sort of was able to keep playing. And
You were the top goal kicker. Was it the next year or second?
Oh, geez, you take me back now.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure the second year. So the first year you were a point behind, and then the second year.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I might have jagged that one. But, yeah, and we had a couple of really good years, a couple of lean years, and then probably last year in Adelaide, we were a couple of kicks off making the grand final. We played in a big prelim against Hawthorn, and just fell short. But that was sort of my time. Finished up my time in Adelaide after that one, and then made the transition to Sydney.
So those first few years mentally were there tough times? Like, was it, obviously, like you hit the ground running and you like from the outside perspective, you killed it. You went really well. But learning the game, was there any times when you're like, I don't know, man, I don't know if were you ever not confident of your ability, or you were always like, I can do this if I work hard enough?
I think I always believed, and I think coaches and teammates help you build that. You're lucky to be around such positive guys, and you develop really good friendships, and you encourage each other, and then you got the coaches, that they're developing you, and they're sort of instilling you with this belief, and shaping you into what sort of player that you'll become, and what role you'll fulfill in a team. So I guess that's what sort of keeps you moving forward, and obviously there's going to be the highs and the lows, and you'll have an injury or a frustrating period, and or you get dropped. I remember getting dropped in that first season I was playing, and found that pretty tough. Like, I think anyone would.
100%.
So you go out and you have a couple of games in reserve grade, and then I was lucky to come back in for the finals. But that's a learning.
So what was the conversation like? Walk us through the conversation and how you're feeling when you're driving home. Were you bitter? Were you like, oh man, I don't know if did I deserve to be dropped? Do you know what I mean? What was the conversation like?
I think I was resigned to the fact that I wasn't playing maybe as well as I was at the start of the season. It's going back a fair while now, but I think I got mentally and physically pretty tired with the length of the season.
First years in first grade as well. You're a young guy.
I think mentally more than anything too, trying to get yourself up each training session and then each game.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a big skill, and as you get older, that becomes easier. But when you're a kid, that's hard to stay tuned in for a whole footy season. So came out, had a bit of a break, and then got to experience playing finals, which is a real thrill. To play in the finals is the reason why we play.
So was that the first year you got there?
This was the second season when I actually played, yeah.
Okay, so the first year injured a bit. Second season you're playing regular first grade, 19 games. Then you make that finals. What's that feeling like for you, when you... Actually, rewind a bit. When you called your parents and your family to say you're going to make your debut.
Yeah.
What was that like?
That was a real thrill. And I remember the coach telling me early in the week, he gave me plenty of time to prepare.
Yeah.
Sort of come off a good pre-season, and we played the pre-season tournament. So to play those sort of games, I guess you're feeling pretty confident. I think we went through and, not that it means much, but we went right through that pre-season tournament and finished second, I think. So we played some good footy, and I felt ready. And then, to tell my family was a great thrill, and they obviously got to the game, and then I had a heap of mates come to the game as well. And the debut was another learning curve, but a great experience. We lost, I think, by a kick. I think we had a kick to win it right at the end, and we missed.
Heartbreaking.
And that was another... Brad Johnson's a legend of our game. He played for the Bulldogs. I think
Yep.
it was his milestone game. I think it was his 300th or something like that. So there was sort of a lot going on, and a really cool experience.
When you run out for the first time.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Well, the theme song plays as you run out. You run through the banner.
Yep.
You're just filled with that adrenaline. I was playing at Etihad Stadium. The roof was off that day, so beautiful sunny day. Etihad Stadium, you feel the crowd there.
Yep.
It sort of goes straight up. They're sitting on top of you, and just sort of try to take that all in as best as I could. It's a blur.
Beautiful. It's just a beautiful moment. It's like, man, I can't believe I'm here.
Trying to spot your family.
Yeah. Okay, so your debut, you kill it. Adelaide, you establish yourself as a young upcomer that is a good footy player, essentially. Or didn't you?
Oh, well, I don't know.
You're too humble, bro.
You're working really hard too, I guess. At that stage of your career, you play one, you want to play, hopefully play well enough to get picked in the second game of the year, and I guess over the course of the year, you're trying to establish yourself as someone who's going to play regularly and play a role for the team. So, I think I was lucky at a period of time too, just with the position I played. There was a bit of a transition period at the time with forwards at the Adelaide Footy Club, and there was a bit of a spot there for me to play forward.
I was about to say, so someone retired and then you slot in, or were they injured?
Yeah, just the way the game was moving too. Taller forwards were sort of starting to come into the game, and I was one of those, and the way footy was sort of moving at that time, that's the way it was shaping, and then to play forward and ruck was becoming a bit of a dual role too. So being flexible sort of helped me out at that stage as well. So
you establish yourself as a first grader though, like you're an established first grader by that stage.
Oh, I guess playing sort of 19, 20 games in that season. Yeah.
Okay,
and then you're getting somewhere close.
And then 2012, you decide to leave.
Yep. And I played out my contract in 2012. That was the year we played in that big game, and it was a very hard decision to leave after that.
Especially after that.
Yeah, we'd gone so close, and we'd had a really good year. New coach had come in, Brenton Sanderson, and I just felt it was my time. For a number of reasons, you never make a decision like that, based on something. You consider everything, and I just thought it was my time, and there was a fair bit going on through that period. It was a bit of an interesting time, and grateful that it worked out. I ended up getting picked up in the preseason draft by Sydney.
Okay.
And
So when it all kind of happened, and all the drama happened, what was it like? That would have been your first kind of off-field test mentally, like dealing with drama.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah. It's a big test, I think. Personally, I didn't really enjoy going through anything like that. There's a lot of emotions going on. You don't really feel comfortable, leaving this place that's been so good to you to move. So, you're trying to deal with that the best you can, but you also know it's the right time. And then the drama that went down, no one likes being involved in that sort of drama.
Yeah, 100%.
Your family are sort of going through it as well. They're riding it with you, and your friends, and then your teammates that you've left, and it's a bit of a crazy time. But
if you could sum it, like, how would you sum it up? Like, if you were to speak to someone that maybe hadn't played professional sport, how was it just like a constant kind of pressure on you, like a negative energy kind of thing of everything going on? What was it like for you? Like, you obviously got the press saying one thing, other people, you know what I mean? Like, what was it?
Yeah, there is a lot going on, and you're trying to consider everybody and everything, and do what's best in that situation, and you're trying to also do what's best for you, because that's why you're making the move in the first place. You obviously got a reason, and you're feeling like it's time for a transition. So you're going through that, and then you've got one side of things getting reported, and sometimes it's not all correct, as we know, and that's hard. And then you got your family, and you're getting advice from managers and family and friends, and everyone sort of talking to you. So you're trying to take that all on board and work your way through it. So it's a pretty tough time. One, looking back now, I think you grow a lot as a person, and you find out a bit about yourself as you go through those times.
Yeah. Do you think that you came out pretty clean, as in mentally and emotionally? Do you reckon you came out pretty, like, you see it for what it is? It was a tough time in your life and everything, see it? Or is there any like bitterness at all? Like, I've still got some kind of bitterness with my things. Is there any bitterness at all for you?
I don't think there's any bitterness. Obviously, I think, you know, if you had your time again, you might handle things
Yeah.
a little bit different. And hindsight,
It's 2020.
yeah, you'd love to go back and maybe handle things a tiny bit different and work out things so they can be a bit smoother. But at the time, we just did the best we could, and I think I'm pretty comfortable with that. And yeah, I don't carry too much bitterness. I sort of try and remember all the fun I had and the great opportunity I had there, and I'm really excited about, you know, the opportunity I've got now.
So you come to the Swans, and the Sydney Swans. I mean, they're maybe it's my bias because I'm here and living in New South Wales, but they're a big club. You know, they've got a rich history. You know, you guys have got a side that should be top four or thereabouts each year. You know, that's kind of the. As I said, this is a layman's talking, and I'm not like. But from what I can gather, the Sydney Swans are considered a pretty good club, and they should be always around that top four mark. They're not necessarily like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's been a strength of theirs, and that's why they've sort of built the respect of the competition, because you know, some teams take different paths to get to the top. You know, they might spend some time at the bottom and pick up some young talent through the draft and then work their way up, whereas Sydney's been able to stay at the top and play finals for, I think, you know, it's an incredible stat. You know, it's something like 14 out of the last 15 or something like that. They've only missed once. Really in the last.
It's very similar, like a Brisbane
decade.
Broncos or a Melbourne Storm.
Yeah,
something like that.
And so that's how they've been able to develop players and play finals consistently, and you know, management's fantastic in giving the playing group an opportunity to be right at the top by the way they recruit, the way they get the facilities and the best coaches and all that sort of thing. So it's a great environment to be involved in, and you know, I guess if you're choosing an environment to play your professional career out, then there's no better environment than one where you're given every chance to be successful.
100%. And so, was it when you did want to, like when the move happened from Adelaide, was Sydney was that the club you wanted? Or was it more like they were interested and you're like, oh, okay.
It was, I think for me, I made my mind up that I was going to transition out of Adelaide and back closer to home.
Okay.
It wasn't clear initially at the beginning, and that was then worked through. And you know, once I had a chat to Sydney, and they sort of, you know, I met with them, and I'd obviously heard a lot about the football club. I was able to see some of that, and I was like, you know, I think this is the environment for me, and this is where I really want to be. And I was very grateful that they were able to make it happen.
And did you, the Gold Coast team, what year did they come in? 2010, 9, 10? Anyway, was that a consideration? Like, were you like, maybe I, you know, could go there?
Yeah, obviously I considered the Gold Coast, and they've got to consider you too. Like,
yeah.
You can't say,
I'm coming. Hey, bro, I'm coming next week.
And yeah, they've come in and got some fantastic players and developing a great list of young talented guys that you're really high in the draft. So being from the Gold Coast, so obviously, yeah, you're
going to consider it.
You know, that'd be a consideration. Brisbane's pretty close to home, and then to chat to Sydney as well.
What do you reckon the difference between the Swans? Like, is there any key differences between the Adelaide and the Swans? Not negative differences, but what do you reckon are the differences in, you know, the way the Swans handle things in Adelaide? Is there cultural differences? Is there, you know, is the feel of the club different? Is there any differences?
I think I'm very fortunate to have played at two great environments.
Clubs,
I feel that really honestly. Yeah, they're going to be different in their ways.
Not like one's better or worse, obviously. But you know what I mean? Like, each club kind of has its different feel. Like, there might be a more family feel there, but it might be more, you know, professional. You know what I mean? Like, or whatever, not professional. But, you know, like, is there any differences or not really? Each club is kind of pretty similar.
I think that, you know, Sydney's touted for having this fantastic culture, and that's something that they're really proud of, and they've built and they've worked really hard to do that. And there's been some guys that have played really pivotal roles in developing that, and that's something that's really driven hard and continues to be driven hard and brought through. Adelaide Footy Club, they're a great franchise as well. Like, I shouldn't say franchise, they're not a franchise, but they're a great club as well, and you know, they got some fantastic support down there in Adelaide. So it's just different feels here in Sydney. AFL's not the biggest code.
Whereas Adelaide is kind of thing.
Adelaide is the
Yeah,
centre
okay.
of that town. Adelaide and Port Adelaide, the centre of that town. Sydney here, you know, it's almost like you're fighting to get recognised and
Yeah.
have to go really well to get supported.
Very
like
true,
it's really
yeah.
important for our footy club to be successful, to be supported, just because there's so many other
Yeah,
codes. And
it's very true. And I guess that would also be a motivating factor from the club because they have to strive for things so much harder, you know?
I think they
like,
understand that,
Yeah.
yeah. And we as players understand that too. Like, we're in a competitive marketplace here, and
100%. It's like friggin', it's like the Melbourne Storm essentially in Melbourne compared to the AFL clubs there.
yeah.
Except you're probably doing better. I like Melbourne Storm. What's coming to the Sydney Swans? Have you got any clowns in the team? Any of the boys?
It's plenty of those.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough when I first moved in to Sydney. I lived with Dan Henry for a year, and
Yep.
we lived down there at his place at North Bondi, and he's a real character. And we had some ripping times down there with him.
North Bondi as well. Like, come on. Was it North Bondi? Did you say?
He had a great place down there. So we lived there for a year and a half, and had some great times there. He's a real character, Dan. He'll talk your ears off. He's awesome.
So for yourself, what's the positive? What's been the best memory? Like when you think back of AFL, and that in your mind, you're thinking about your career or whatever. What's something that sticks out? Like for example, myself, it's a try I scored against the Eels. Like it's something that I remember very vividly. Is it like the kick in the semi-finals to even it up, or was it, or to go ahead? Sorry.
Yeah, there's certain sort of individual moments that you remember. Like playing for Adelaide, there was a kick there that was late in the game, and I was able to put that through to give us a bit of a chance. Unfortunately, we lost, but you sort of remember moments like that. But
60-meter field goal, bro.
I don't know if it was that long, but it was a bit of a long one.
Talk us through the moment. What are you a layman watching in? What are you feeling in that moment? What are you thinking? Like, what is the specific thought going through your head?
Oh,
can you hear the
I remember
crowd?
it was a free kick, so I remember getting the free kick and going back, and I think we were down by 5.
Yep.
And I knew I'd have to kick it really hard, but I didn't want to kick it hard because I knew if you put too much effort in, you're going to drag it or shank it. And so I sort of relaxed on it a bit, and I was pretty calm. Sometimes you find yourself in this calm state. I was pretty aware of what I had to do and what I didn't want to do.
Okay, so you're kind of actively thinking like, I can choose not to be stressed here kind of thing. If I'm stressed out and I'm letting the moment get to me, I'm going to shank it or drag it or whatever.
I want to kick freely through this, and sort of trusted myself to generate like enough sort of momentum and that naturally without sort of getting real tight and trying to kick the crap out of it. So I guess that's sort of what I remember, and then somehow it snuck through, and unfortunately the ball went the other way, and they were able to kick one late. But you remember moments like that. But I think for me the moments sometimes aren't like the real obvious ones. Sometimes walking off after a game and just knowing that you've sort of like you've given everything, win, lose or draw, or sometimes like we've been really up against it as a team. You might have a couple of injuries and we've had to just slog it out with your teammates, and it's just real honest performance, and they're the ones that sometimes you're most proud of, and there's probably been more of those than the individual sort of moments.
It's indescribable that feeling of contentment walking off knowing that you've especially if you get a win, but walking off that field, it's such a high. Like, when you know what I mean, like when you walk off that field and you just buggered and you look across and your mates are all there and you've done it or whatever. You'll be chasing that feeling for the rest of your life.
Yeah, well, that's the feeling you're after, isn't it? Just walking off and you've given your all, and you look at the guy beside you and he's given you all, and you've won and you've dug in, and I reckon that's the best feeling in footy. And
pharmacy, you studied pharmacy?
I did a long time ago before I got into the footy.
So you got a degree and everything? Like you completed?
No,
the course?
I didn't complete it. I got sort of 2 years into pharmacy at Griffith Uni on the Gold Coast. So I was at uni and playing footy for the Southport Sharks.
Yeah, what was that like?
Pretty close.
Uni life
I enjoyed it.
Would you go back?
Pardon me?
Would you go back?
To uni, I'm still at uni.
Oh, okay. So what are you studying now?
I've transitioned a little bit. So I did the pharmacy study before I got drafted. Then sort of put a bit of energy into footy for a while, and then
it's hard to balance both.
Once I felt a bit more comfortable with the routine and the demands of it, I picked up some study. I got more into business. Left the pharmacy alone.
Okay.
So I've sort of been studying commerce since.
Oh,
Now I'm at Sydney Uni here and doing a bit of commerce study. So hopefully
I guess obviously you're studying commerce to one day open your own business. What's the kind of plan for you?
I enjoy finance.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'll probably major in finance and we'll see, see where I fall, where I land at the end of footy and what I want to get into. At this stage, I'm still figuring it out, but we've got some great guys around the football club in finance, and they're great to take advice from. One of my good buddies who played with last year, Mike Pike, is now working in an investment bank, and he's really enjoying that. So, we sort of talk about, careers after footy, and he reckons it's harder.
It's harder? Yeah, man.
He's forgotten how hard it is to play in the ruck.
Yeah.
he's now in a suit, but he reckons that's harder and longer. So, we have good...
Longer, that was the key word. I'm telling you, bro, like it's not harder physically. It's mentally like draining because it's so long the days. Like
you got to use your head more than your body.
Yeah, and you're just like, you're getting up at 6 in the morning. Like, well, I was getting up at 4, but you're getting up at 6 in the morning, you go to work and you just crunching whatever it is, like, you know what I mean, like just monotonous, same old.
Plenty to look forward to then.
Oh, please, bro, just start your own show, bro. Just start your own show. You're sweet. When you would have been around in the we don't have to air this, but this part, but the Adam Good situation, was that hard for you to watch a teammate go through all that? Was that tough?
Yeah, it was, and it was really hard to understand at the time, like. It was just one of those sort of instances. But trying to support a teammate through that was a challenge, and we obviously were all right behind him and tried to show him the support. And I think he handled himself to his credit like a true champion, like he is.
Yep.
It was sad. It was sad to see.
I think it's so fucking sad that a legend of the game and a guy that's an absolute gun, that was the end of that was close. I wish it's just shit. So and obviously I only see him as a person in the paper, but he's your mate. Yeah. So watching that go through that, it would have been fucking tough.
It was hard, and I think he dealt with it for a long time, and it sort of came to a head, and he just needed to take some time for himself and get clear with a few things and have a bit of downtime. He did that, came back, played out the season. We went as hard as we could. We had a few injuries and fell short of playing in the big games at the end of the season. But it was definitely hard to see him go through that, and for that to be his last sort of
hurrah.
Time at the footy club.
Sucks. And that the semi-finals 2014 with the Swans.
Yep.
Was that, how heartbreaking was that on a scale of 1 to 1,000,000?
Yeah, that was the hardest thing I've sort of had to deal with from just a purely
footy perspective.
Sort of we had a great season.
Yeah.
We got going. We had a big string of I think it was 11 or 12 games in a row we won. Sort of went into the finals as sort of favourites, one of the favourites, and went right through. Got to the big one against Hawthorn, and then just didn't perform on the day, which was, heartbreaking, embarrassing, all those things. And
what was the conversation like with the boys at the end? Was it kind of just like we know what happened here kind of thing, or?
I think it took a while to sink in and to be able to look each other in the eye, because we all knew we hadn't performed at our best and we'd been beaten badly. That was difficult to sort of move past. I think it took a few blokes a while to sort of put that one to bed and to move on. I think we handled it well as a team. We sort of were really honest about it. We sat down, we reviewed it before we went away. We tried not to let it linger, and then.
Oh, okay. So you all sat down before you broke away, like into your holidays, like after season. So you sat down and watched it and talked about it.
Yep.
Okay.
We did that. We did that really honestly, and that was a tough process to go through. Sitting there and watching the grand final, and
man, there
was some, I don't know. There's a lot that you want to do again. I know personally, sitting there watching it, you're like, far out. That's
I had that chance. That chance was right there in my hands.
And I think we all felt that collectively as a group of individuals, and that's the hardest thing. And then, but we handled that. We We reviewed it as hard as it was, and then we
Kind of moved on. Just
cut ties with it,
yeah.
and we started fresh the next season.
And is growing up, did you have any footy players that you kind of aspired to? I know you're a basketball player. Did you watch
Yeah.
AFL growing up a lot, or
Watched
not really?
bits and pieces. I remember watching the Lions dominate for their
Was it 3 feet or 4 feet?
years. Yeah, they won the 3. I think they played in 4.
Yep.
But yeah, that was sort of my memory of it. Watching big Jonathan Brown and Alistair Lynch, they were the forwards at the time.
Man, I even remember that. Like, my dad was a huge AFL fan, and I remember. That's like I got on the bandwagon. Obviously, I jumped straight on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, obviously I support the Lions.
They were awesome. And
Ackerman?
Ackermanis.
Ackermanis. Sorry, Ackermanis. His blonde hair.
Yeah.
Handstands and shit.
Handstands.
The man.
From everywhere. Yeah. So that was sort of my memories, and I think they sort of started this sort of burning desire for Queenslanders to sort of learn a bit more about footy, and I think the culture's slowly grown over time. And
So was that the thing that kind of piqued your interest a bit?
I think so. As an outsider,
Yeah.
Watching these guys do their thing and being introduced to this sport, and it's sort of, I was sort of very aware of the sport watching those guys do their thing.
Yeah.
And it was big news in Queensland, and then I think since then, on the back of their success, it's sort of,
Helped the sport.
grown.
Yeah.
And now the Suns have been introduced as well, and so our area back home on the Gold Coast is sort of,
Beautiful Goldie.
the people are sort of a lot more aware of footy and supporting the Suns.
And I guess what's the future plans for you? Obviously, future plans is to play AFL, but what is the goal next 12 months for you? What's if you lay out, this is where I want to be in 12 months kind of thing, what is it for you?
That's a good question. First things first, I've got to get back from my injury.
Yeah.
So hurt my hamstring, had the surgery, so it was about an 8-week injury. I'm 2.5 weeks into it now. So I ran for the first time today, which is a highlight, as well as anyone, those little steps when you...
Oh my God. They
when
seem
you
so
come back from
pathetic.
injury. Yeah.
They seem so pathetic to anyone else, but it is such a big deal because you're like, thank God
Yes.
I can actually run now.
You can see the light when you take those steps. So I did that, and I got a pretty big 6 weeks to try and get back to full pace, stay fit, stay
Because you'll be
strong.
hitting finals time, like there or there, like it's still a bit to go, but you'll be hitting that kind of that run in 6 weeks.
So there'll only be sort of a couple of games left of the normal season to try and get back in the side and prove fitness, and that sort of barring any mishaps or any setbacks. So we're trying to have a smooth run at it and give ourselves the best shot, or give myself the best shot of being able to get back in the side and contribute this year.
Have you enjoyed the transition to ruckman? Has that been?
Yeah, I have. I guess initially coming here, I sort of picked to play in that sort of role. The way footy's going at the moment, you need to have a bit of flexibility, play forward, play in the ruck. It's a pretty important position in footy these days. And I sort of played a lot more forward when I first got to the footy club, and I had some lingering sort of knee stuff, so I wasn't spending as much time in the ruck. I probably wasn't right on top of my fitness due to these things. So played a lot more forward, and then as my body sort of been a bit more kind, I've been able to transition and play in the ruck. And this season, I've pretty much played as a full-time ruckman and tried to just do a little bit of stuff up forward when I can. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the challenge. I've got to learn off guys like Mike Pike and these guys that have played with along the journey. So it's sort of my turn to take the mantle.
Good times. And just a few quick rapid questions. Favorite rapper of all time?
Favorite rapper? There's a few of them. I like Kanye.
Kanye, you like?
He's just interesting.
Come on, bro.
He's interesting, man.
He's so arrogant.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean though. He's like entertaining.
Yeah.
Did you see his latest video?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I heard it's a good one.
Bro, it's like it's intense. It's kind of gross. Like as in it's good that it's gross. Like as in it's really artsy.
It's got you thinking.
Yeah, well that's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
And it's like it makes you feel gross, like what fame is.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what it's supposed to do.
Yep.
it's like these people just bearing their souls to become famous, and that's what that's my interpretation. Obviously, art is interpretation.
Yeah.
Fuck, soon I'll start painting pictures soon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, okay, so I can see Kanye. So what favorite, do you like his recent album? Pablo, Life of Pablo?
What was the one?
Graduation? 808 and Heartbreaks?
The one with
Yeezus?
Yeezus is alright. The one before that, is it?
College Dropout?
Is it Dark Twisted Fantasy?
Oh, yeah. Fuck, yeah, I know. My Dark Twisted Fantasy or something like that, yeah.
I enjoyed that
Runaway.
one. And then Yeezus, and yeah.
Runaway.
I saw him here. I think it was a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed it. He puts on a good show. I know he's crazy.
Actually, a couple of years ago, yeah, I went there too. Was it in, did you see him, and it was where the disabled guy, like, was in this thing?
Yes, I went the night after that.
Bro, I was there the night before. Got pictures and everything. It was mad. It was mad.
It was a good show.
That was such bullshit, bro. That report was bullshit. What he said was, I want everyone standing up. And then, like, he saw someone not standing up. Yeah. And he goes, he said, hey, you, stand up. And then he goes, oh, if you can't stand up, like, if you're disabled, then obviously, like, straight away. Yeah. But the news sold it.
That's a big story.
That he was telling this disabled person to stand up and that he was sooking until but it didn't happen like that. I was there, bro.
You were there?
I was fucking there.
That's right.
I guess this will be harder, but funniest memory. Do you have a funny memory, like the boys mucking around or anything like that? I mean, obviously you do have a funny memory, but PG funny memory. On the field, maybe some.
I remember this time at training back in Adelaide, Taylor Walker used to always park in the no parking sort of spot right out the front of the club. And so many times we got told, boys, don't park there. Like, if, ambulance or someone needs to get through, like, they need to be able to get through there. And he just kept doing it.
It's like it became a game to him?
It became his game. And then one day, one of the older boys knew a tow truck driver.
Oh, no way.
And so he teed it up for just when we were out sort of having our team meeting just before we started training. So we were all right there, not far from his car. He got his mate to drive in and tow the car. And Tex was just losing it. All the boys were losing it. And Tex thought he was going to get pounded and stuff like that. But the guy just drove around the other side of the stadium and dropped it off. So
that is quality.
We were losing it. Was
he blowing up?
He was losing it. He didn't know what to do because coach was kind of like half talking and we was in his car getting towed and all the boys were just like...
That is classic.
That was a good game.
Any on-field memories? I remember like my second game, I was running out and I tripped over in front of Stevie Michaels, like not fully, but like just like stumbled, and I was like, man, that's so embarrassing. And Stevie Michaels was laughing at me. Any funny memories like on-field or even training that like missed a goal or whatever?
Missed plenty of goals. I missed too many goals to find that funny.
Was that a deep pain laugh just then? Like you're just laughing at your pain.
There's been some good ones of those, but I don't know. Some of the guys are pretty good on the chat during the game. I'm sure.
Really bit of banter.
Yeah, a few of my teammates.
Man, Wendell Saylor when he first came back, sprayed the fuck out of me.
Did he?
First came back, he was like, "You're not on the fucking soccer field now. You're a bum. You're not going to score a try. You're not going to kick like." You're not going to be able to kick to yourself here. I've got you covered. Kemp Fogger just spraying me.
Yeah.
And I'm looking across.
Was he playing for the Dragons? And you were playing for
the Broncos.
Yeah.
And he was massive. I was like, if he gets the fucking ball, there is not a chance in hell I'm going to tackle this guy. Not a chance. Anyway, and then I found out, he got a broken jaw and got taken off. Not from me. I couldn't hurt a fly. I'm a fucking little bitch winger. And then I found it. So years later, when he was spraying me, I was smiling and laughing like, that's fucking Wendell Saylor. He can say whatever the fuck he wants. This is awesome. I'm getting sprayed by Wendell Saylor. And then years later, I ran into him and he's like, do you know how angry you made me because you didn't say a word back and you were smiling at me like you knew something that I didn't? And I was like, bro, I was smiling because you're Wendell Saylor. So that's a bit of banter. Any banter like that for yourself? Or? Plenty of banter.
I'm not witty enough to chat on the field. A couple of my teammates don't go too bad.
Oh, really? Okay, fair enough. Favourite movie of all time?
Favourite movie of all time? That's a tough one. Because I've been injured, I've been seeing a few lately, but
Netflix and chill?
I like the Bourne movies, so I'm looking forward to seeing the new one that's coming out. So.
I didn't like the one without Jason.
Yes, no, you're right. We'll skip that one.
Yeah, let's just...
All the ones with Matt Damon.
Bro, how good is it? There was this one fight scene where he punched that dude with the book in that. Oh, it's too hard to explain, but I love a good Matt Damon movie.
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, yep.
Woo. Who's your favourite actor of all time?
Oh, I don't know. Denzel goes pretty good. I like
Yep.
a heap of his movies
Boom, number one.
early on.
You don't like his newer
Especially-
ones?
Oh, a couple of them.
I think he's just banking on what he built himself.
Yeah.
Because
There's a couple of rippers. He had a patch. And
oh man,
yeah,
for example,
put it wrong.
Equalizer. If anyone else was playing that role, it would have been a shit movie. But because it was Denzel, it was like, yeah, it was passable. Flight, did you see Flight? Flight was good.
No, oh yeah, when he was the
Pilot.
The pilot, yeah.
That was mad. Bradley Pitt. I call him Bradley.
Yeah, okay.
Do you like Brad
told
Pitt?
him?
Yeah, well, we're mates. It's obviously. Jesus. Obviously, we both do humanitarian shit for people in Africa. Yeah, so favourite actor is Denzel then? Or
Yeah, we'll give it to Denzel.
And
We had Zac Efron at our club today, actually, out of the blue.
he's so good looking. Like, it's offensive. He shouldn't be that good looking.
I don't know what he was doing. I think that he's got a movie out, but he popped into the club today. I didn't get to meet him, but the boys were saying he's pretty short.
Yeah, he's shredded to the bone though.
Yeah. And they were waiting for him they gave him a top, so they took him out on the ground for a kick. They gave him a top to put on. They were a bit disappointed when he put it on over his shirt. They wanted to see
Oh, they're trying to get his
he was.
yeah, oh man, damn it.
Wanted to see if he was the real deal.
Yeah. He should be like, oh, why are you wearing it over your top, bro? Man, he is like, I was watching a movie recently, Bad Neighbours 2, with the missus, and I was just like, I can't compete with guys like that. It's just not even a it's like me versus Jonathan Thurston. It's not even a competition, and it's ridiculous. Actually, good mate Shandor Earl, he's another guy. Chicks it's ridiculous the amount of chicks that just love him. There's barely any women that watch The Locker Room. It's all men, 93% men or something like that.
Yep.
As soon as he came onto the show, there's all these comments from chicks like, oh, it's so hot, rah. It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
There you go.
All right, brother.
I don't
Thank
think
you.
I'll pull the same numbers. I'm sorry.
It's all good, bro. It's all good. I'm sure you've been. I was about to say thank you so much for coming on. It's been
awesome. Good to catch up again.
Oh, mate, how many years? Cross country and sprinting. It's been. I don't even know if I could run 100 right now. Got a bit of fat on the love handles. But yeah,
I'm not going too much better, mate. My hamstring's not letting me go fast.
yeah, thanks so much for coming on, brother. It's been extremely interesting, and yeah, hopefully this leads to more AFL guys because I want to. I'm intrigued in comparing the cultures and just the different kind of obviously pretty much the same, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
No worries. Pleasure. Thank you.
Boom.